Australians told us in the Australia Talks national survey earlier this year that they'd be willing to spend a few $100s each year personally to help prevent climate change. That's roughly $4 billion a year, which could go a long way to reducing Australia's emissions. Emma Hurd is CEO of the Investor Group on Climate Change, which represents institutional investors and others in the investment community interested in the impact of climate change. And she joins me now. Emma, thank you. Now, some said that they would pledge nothing, and others said thousands. On average, that makes $4 billion, though. That's a lot of money to play with.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? People really saying that they're prepared to put forward money and to be part of the solution, I think was a really interesting outcome from this process. I think it also kind of shows that people are really keen to find practical things that they can get involved in and do something about when it comes to an issue which is sometimes very big and amorphous like climate change.
Now, the ABC went to a few experts after that to ask what they would do with this money, and there were some very interesting responses. What stood out for you amongst them?
I think it was really interesting to see how prevalent the issue of energy was in the course of everyone's responses, whether it's the grid, whether it's energy efficiency, whether it's solar panels on the roof. It really kind of shows that for Australia, getting our emissions down is really an energy problem, but also that we can unlock so many more solutions if we do focus on energy. The other thing which I thought really struck me was both the focus on innovation and technology, but also the need to focus on adaptation and resilience as well. I mean, that's one area where we know in Australia we're not putting enough money into solutions to future-proof our communities to climate change.
Now, if you were asked what you would do with the $4 billion, what would it be?
Yeah, well, quite a lot. I would definitely focus on, just to pick up on that last point, I would definitely focus on investing in local communities to improve our resilience to the effects of climate change itself. More than 85% of us live on a coast, and we're also unfortunately seeing the effects of increased heat and extreme weather conditions from climate change, which really impact people's personal lives and communities. So I think that's a key area of focus. But then in terms of getting emissions down, you can't go past energy. And I think the biggest thing you can do to get bang for your buck is to invest in distribution and transmission infrastructure, which unlocks all of the other technology solutions as well.
And removing risks for investors in new clean technology is often all it takes to kickstart a profitable industry. So the money could be used, and as was suggested in some of the responses, to make that $4 billion go a lot further.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the Clean Energy Finance Corporation, which has been really successful in unlocking capital into clean tech solutions in particular, and that's continuing to do quite a lot of work. But where Australia really needs more investment is at early stage technology deployment. You know, we're really good at coming up with the ideas, we're really good at scaling them up when it comes to mature capital structures, but it's the bit in the middle, startups and venture tech and new types of technologies, where we could really use more of a boost as well.
Now, we don't have this $4 billion fund, of course, so what options do we have?
We don't have $4 billion, but we do have our superannuation industry, which is $2.9 trillion as at September this year, and which is forecast to continue to grow as more and more of us enter the workforce and put our money into our retirement savings. So actually, if you think about it, if all of us chose to actually take our retirement savings to talk to our superannuation fund and ask them to put it into climate solutions, then we wouldn't just have $4 billion, we'd have $2.9 trillion working for us in terms of climate solutions as well.
So that option to ask your super fund to do that, is that something that people are taking up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in Australia, we've seen a number of people, you know, writing to their funds, engaging with their funds, moving their money, switching between funds, who are offering them really strong climate solution. I mean, if you think about it, it's your money, it's your retirement savings. You have the choice as to where you want it invested. And I think more and more Australians are beginning to realise that and taking an active choice about where they want their money deployed on their behalf.
A very practical suggestion there. Emma Hurd, CEO of the Investor Group on Climate Change. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks very much.